Wait, what are you streaming? Kenny, it's bro, wrong country. What the hell? Okay, it's don't forget to ping. All right, hello. Welcome to Newcomer Mania World Cup round of 16 of Indonesia A versus Asia Pacific. I'm Envily and bringing you here with Jaza. Hello, Jaza. Do you want to continue with your introduction?
Yeah, sure, why not? Yeah, Indonesia A versus Asia Pacific, pretty okay, like pretty good teams. I think. We've seen quite a lot of Indonesia A. Haven't seen much of Asia Pacific though, so this is going to be quite the match.
Yeah, totally. Are they doing warm up right now? If yes, then we can see their qualifier scores. I think so. All right, Indonesia A, a very solid performance, very good performance actually in the qualifier, having snatched seed 5 and having very strong performance on specifically both LN and hybrid. They're pretty middle of the ground. Well, not middle of the ground. It's still top 10 on Rice and SV, but LN and hybrid are definitely their two strongest skill set. What do you think about it, Jaza?
Yeah, everything's pretty high ranked on the seeding list, so you'd most likely expect them to do pretty well in the matches.
Yeah, especially in the skill set that most players struggle with, LN and hybrid. And
yeah, it's mostly the LN releases that gets most players in the skill range.
True. Let's move on to Asia Pacific, and we see a pretty similar looking graph with their best skill set being LN and a pretty solid SV and hybrid. Well, I think Rice, hybrid, and SV are very, very similar, whereas their LN is a little bit better compared to those three. Interesting. It's gonna be like an LN versus LN battle, don't you think?
Yeah, that's definitely gonna be interesting to watch because there's multiple people who prefer Rice over LN in this skill range.
Yeah, totally. But this could be a bit different than any of other matches that we've seen so far. Both of these teams are pretty comfortable with LN, so I'm expecting very good scores from them. And I think we can change back to their warm-up, I believe. Oh, I don't think Indonesia is taking this warm up pretty well. Oh, it's an SV warm up. Holy. Oh, everyone misses. Man. So what's your opinion on SV? I personally don't really like it, but it's really neat skill set, I guess.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the skill sets you need to like practice a bit more to like learn the different mapping techniques that different mappers use for the LNs.
Yeah, totally. I mean, some mappers are better than the other in terms of determining like which sound will get which like modification of their speed, because it definitely are based on something, right? Like you cannot map SV on a thin air, just like, oh, speed up this, slow down this. And so there are
Yeah,
some good mappers that, funnily enough, the better the mapper is at making SV, I feel like they would make the SV make sense, you know? So, oh, this part is fast, that means the pattern will be fast, so on and so forth, if you get what I mean.
yeah. And I mean that just like determines like it's more the song based with the SV. So you gotta like know the song to be able to understand the SV.
Yeah, true. You need to practice a lot on SV. It's not a map that you can just play once and then you say, okay, I'm done. Like, unless if you like really hate SV and you plan on banning it and everyone agrees, it's a map that a must to be played multiple times. Like 4.2
Yeah,
star SV, what the hell? That's
that's
insane.
wild.
Yeah, right. I I don't think this is
What are your,
in Indonesia's warm up. I
yeah.
really don't think
What are
so.
your thoughts on the match outcome? Like what do you think both teams will try and ban and protect?
Mm, well, I'm the host of Indonesia, so I know what Indo will will ban. That sounds a bit
Yeah.
unfair, but even though they are pretty good at LN both, I heard they really don't like this LN specifically. So probably LN1 or maybe LN2, either one of those. And for Asia Pacific, I'm not entirely sure, but from what I know from their match between um, Germany, Belgium, and who's the other? Germany, Belgium, and Austria. Yeah, I know that they're strong. They're a strong player. I mean, sorry, team for non-rice. So for LN and hybrid. So they might actually ban rice. A rare sight, but yeah, it's possible.
Yeah, in my last match that I commentated, Rice 5 was banned by,
Ah,
I think it was Indonesia B or
oh
something like that.
really? Rice 5 is, it makes sense actually, because Rice 5 I think is one of the harder rice. It's 3.2 star for one, so the SR already shows how hard it is. Like tiebreaker is 3.3 and that's after buff. So yeah,
Yeah.
makes sense.
Alrighty, Asia Pacific protecting first.
They're
They're protecting the
protecting
SV.
SV. Interesting. I feel like SV is a very hit or miss kind of pick to be protected or be banned, because in my mind SV is either like your teams are very good at SV and is able to achieve very high score, or you're just cashing in on the fact that your enemies might be very bad at SV in comparison to you, because it's really hard to predict if a player can be good at SV. And Indonesia is protecting Rice for Jack map, the consistent Jack map.
Yeah, Jacks with consistency. Um, it's a bit more of a challenging skill set because there's like the consistency part is more of a like a stamina
Yeah, it has a challenge of
like a
itself, right?
stamina, yeah.
And my prediction is correct. They actually ban Rice too. They're banning Rice. And Indo is banning LN1. I am 2 for 2 in the ban prediction. Indonesia will have its first pick. So what do you think Indo will pick?
Probably one of the hybrids.
Probably. Though again, Asia Pacific has a pretty I mean not pretty low, but decently lower Rice score than Indo, so they might try to test the Rice skill of Asia Pacific in comparison to themselves. So Rice might be a solid option to test. But nope, you're right. It's Hybrid 1. It's my map, guys.
It's your map.
This is a very cut LN. So it has a lot of release element into it for the short LN. People have complained about this map a bit. The fact that it's not linear in a way. I know a lot of players play with Percy skin, so LN cut, and usually in that skin, the N is cut, right? So it's harder to gauge on when to release, and this map tests that skill pretty consistently.
Yeah, I think through my playthroughs of the map, I had a little bit of trouble with the LN release.
Yeah, that makes sense. This is not the hardest, fortunately. Like, I know release is the harder part of LN. Like, I think it's easier to click differently than release differently, right? So, a lot of this click should fall under 1.5, like, sorry, 1/2 to 1/4 snap. So, it shouldn't be the hardest thing in the world. And its fast is gone. Where is he? Alright, he's back. He's catching up. Into starting pretty strong. Every single player is with 99.8%. But Asia Pacific is not far behind, but ABC08 Gamer having the first miss very early on. Still below the 400 combo, so it shouldn't damage them too much. But still, it gives Indo a head start very early on the map. And Inorin actually missed too. Ooh. Very dirty miss coming from him.
Yeah. That initial head start can make or break like team scores, because you gotta play pretty consistently to keep that lead.
Yeah. But thankfully the supporting combo and score from both It's Fuss and Rain Takanashi is just enough to hold the lead onto Indonesia's team. But it is Go. It is flickering. So if there's another drop from the Indonesian team, it'll go straight to Asia Pacific. This map is pretty consistent though. I don't think there is a hard part per se. So we should be seeing not much of a change, but we see Inorin dropping a couple of 200 in this just before the break. Moving on to the 3/4 of the way. Oh, oh, that's Banjo. That's Banjo.
Bancho,
I
Bancho,
hate Banjo.
Banchoing.
I hate Banjo so much. It jukes me a million times every commentator.
Yeah, that's the one issue.
Yeah, I mean, it should be fun. Though, surprisingly, in Indonesia's side, its fast is actually holding the highest accuracy in the lobby. The main carrier of the Indonesian team. That's actually a bit surprising to me. But a very solid team performance, even from Asia Pacific. Only a 14,000 score difference. And look at that 990k score from its fast.
Yeah,
This-
pretty high
yeah,
scores from both teams here. So it's gonna be interesting in the later matches to see just how much that consistency will pay off.
yeah. And we see that Inorin actually did not miss the slider break. And the interesting about slider break versus missing is that slider break is not as punishing as actually missing. So I guess that's the reason why Indonesia are able to hold that lead even after two misses from Inorin. And we're moving on to Asia Pacific's pick. Do you think they'll follow the trend of picking hybrid or LN? I
It's most
know.
likely. Oh,
They actually
Rice.
picked Rice 3. Their ban and protects are all fall under what we predict, but their pick is the exact opposite. I would assume because their qualifier Rice is not as high as Indonesia's, they would avoid Rice. I mean, the same as how they ban Rice 5, right? But we see a pretty inverse form of picking.
Yeah, and it does come to a shock to some people, especially like looking at the qualifiers score.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, qualifier is a little bit higher than this stage specifically by one round. So maybe they're a bit more comfortable in the easier section of the stage, which is this one round of 16.
I mean, yeah, it is to be expected because like lower diff Rice is isn't as challenging as the higher because it's not as compact.
True, true. Also, this map is very interesting because this map has barely any tech, if I'm being honest. There are different snaps, there are like sort of a weird flow into it, but it's not a full on tech as you would normally assume. It's pretty consistent in my opinion. So I think Asia Pacific is taking that consistency and trying their best to get a good AC and ratio. And we see at the beginning that
Ooh.
there's a there's a small AC drop from Bongol down to 99.4. I think they got a 200.
That gives Indonesia just that little bit of breathing room to make them feel more comfortable.
Yeah, it is not the end because we see that Dry Noodle is actually leading the lobby with the highest accuracy. So even a drop from Indonesia, a couple of 200 or even a miss would definitely swing this score lead back to them, back to Asia Pacific. But this map is pretty short, so they need to do it quite fast.
Yeah, we've seen a couple 200s in that little section there.
Yeah. But every single player is still holding in. There isn't much change to the state of the score lead. It's even growing a little bit. Going on to the last part of the map. No issue going in so far. The score is flickering, but ABC Gamer
Oh, ABC
missed
Gamer
right
right
at
at
the
the end.
end.
Yeah, that's gonna be devastating.
Yeah, but a very, very good team performance from Indonesia. It's fast getting his V1 double S on this map. Very impressive score, 991k. Very good
Yeah,
performance from him.
with Asia Pacific are gonna try to rethink their picks. I believe. If they have another match like that um where they unfortunately drop the lead throughout
Yeah.
the whole map, it's not going to be going too well for them.
And we see Indonesia is picking Rice 5. The mixed rice pick. So, how hard is this map exactly? I actually have not played it myself, but I've with the star rating and like just the look of this map being quite hard. Have you tried this map before, Jazza?
I haven't actually had the time to know because well, I've been busy with personal stuff.
I see. Well, this one is pretty intimidating just from the star rating alone and from some of the jump stream. And I believe is it is 170 BPM jump stream, which is nuts actually. I feel like qualifier, which is quarterfinal level, has 168 BPM jump stream. So some part of this map is literally quarterfinal level. I'll see if both teams can prevail. And we see Shafiq Miswira is filling in for Inorin in this pretty intensive. I wouldn't say it's in. I mean, It is endurance actually. It's 3 minutes and 17 seconds long. And actually quite a rough start from It's Fast, the MVP of a couple of the maps before. But also a bit struggling is Dry Noodle missing the highest scorer, and Ak from the side of Asia Pacific misses again. This is pretty huge for Indonesia as the lead grows up to almost 20,000 point difference. And this is a
Yeah,
pretty challenging map.
you gotta be pretty careful with like your accuracy in the misses because especially in tournaments because it can make or break like your team score.
Yeah, team score is what is the most important part in this type of tournament. And I see Drynul is struggling immensely with this part, the semi-dense jump stream. Very understandable, but it is not helping their case with just over halfway of this map in the break section, and the score difference is over 35,000 point lead going to Indonesia A. This would take a miracle for the lead to go into Asia Pacific.
Yeah, Indonesia would need to have a couple of bad sections for Asia Pacific to just take that lead back.
Yeah, and it's not looking like that. Indonesia is very comfortable with every single member holding at least 99.4. It's not as high as Bongo, but consistency is what matters the most. And Bongo could not carry the weight of his entire team by himself. And what a decisive win. Though the difference actually shrank from 34,000 to 26,000, so something happened. Very clean score from Indonesia. Everyone holding the combo trip three-way FC. And unfortunate score from Dry Noodle. They actually have very good ratio, but that 3 miss is very detrimental.
I think Indonesia is gonna stick to the LN or hybrid section of this map pool because they've done pretty well with both of their picks. Ooh, Asia Pacific going with the SV pick.
Yeah, we actually get to see Indonesia's performance on SV. This will be very interesting. And changing for Rain is Sidip. And changing for ABC Gamers, Goao. One change each. Well, I mean, Shafiq gets changed to Inorian, I think. I feel like this could be a very close match between those two because their SV placement are very near, right? I believe it's 7 and 10.
And this is as opposed to the round of 32 map pool. This SV is a bit more intensive with the velocity changes.
Yeah. I mean this map is one of our only map so far that is not a custom. Um, so this is pretty known. I say this map is decently famous, and if some of these players have practiced the map before, I can see them getting a really good score on this.
Yeah. With with that being said, um, yeah, it's definitely a factor that can like change the outcome drastically because like if you've got a public map in a tournament like this, and if you've got players who practice the map prior to playing the tournament, then yeah, it's definitely going to be um, quite interesting for the other team that hasn't practiced the map before.
Yeah. Though if you even if you haven't played the map, the fact that we give you like a week to practice should be enough. Like I would assume. And we see leading the pack is a lot of players actually. Indonesia with over 10,000 point difference already at the beginning, with every single player having 99.7. But only Bongol from Asia Pacific is the one that's able to contest that. Wait, sorry, that's 98.5. It's a very scary score from Indonesia. Both Inorin and Sidip holding a pretty good accuracy of 99.7 and 99.6. Its Fast on the other hand drops a little bit to 99.1, but the supporting score is more than enough for this score lead to increase to almost 30,000 combo. On the Asia Pacific side, only Dry Noodles is able to hold a very respectable 99.4, but that still pales in comparison to both Sidip and Inorin. And ooh, we get a miss coming from It's Fast. But as the map is ending, I don't think there's enough time for the score lead to change, and also a very comfortable lead from Indonesia, with Inorin having a V1 SS choke yet again.
Oh
Well, it
seven
was
to a
from Rain.
nine, bro.
Yeah, that is a very impressive score. 989, almost a 990k on SV. That is a scary score. No matter which
Yeah,
team you are, even the seat number one, even for players in like seat number one, that score is nothing to be scoffed at. And we see they're picking their protect Indonesia with Rice for the Jack. This might be their send off, but who knows? It is still possible for a team to fumble their protect. Protect
yeah.
doesn't always mean that this is gonna be their best score, but we'll see. Will Asia Pacific be able to take this point and deny the sweep? And we see both in Indonesia, Inorin and Sidip are replaced by Rain and Shafiq. And in Asia Pacific side, no changes are made. I'm I'm surprised. I would expect ABC08 Gamer to come in and replace Goal. Well, O7 for its fuss for being permanently in the lobby. I think he has not changed at all. And I feel like
Yeah.
Dry Noodles too. I might be mistaken, but I think Dry Noodle is also
I think Dry Noodle hasn't switched out yet.
yeah. O7 to those players for being there for their team, no matter it's Rice, Hybrid or SV. They're like the jack of all trades of skill set.
Yeah. Alrighty, match point to Indonesia. Let's hope that that Asia Pacific can hold out to a tiebreaker.
Oh, and a very early miss coming from Dry Noodles. Very uncharacteristic miss. But it is still really early in the map. So the difference is not that significant, but it's still a dent nonetheless. But we see Rain actually struggling a lot with the map, with their holding the lowest accuracy of 99.2. I think they hit way too fast on some of the clicks. But still a solid team performance with both Itzfas and Shafiq holding a pretty comfortable 99.5. But we see Bongol holding up the highest accuracy of 99.8. Being the difference.
The score is
it's
flickering quite a bit, yeah. Between between 3000 and 2000, this is going to be close.
Yeah. We realized that even the miss from Dynodrol doesn't really affect much with how dominant Mongol is playing Jack. But we see a pretty solid recovery from Rain now, being similar to the accuracy of Goal. But I feel like they still need to be cautious, because couple of 200 can mess this up real quick. And 3000 point difference is very small, and it's flickering. It's switching.
Oh, the map is map's almost over. Oh, this is so close. Oh, very unfortunate for Asia Pacific. Indonesia A take the win, and they will move on to the winners bracket of the quarterfinals.
Oh yeah. Actually forgot this is round of 16. It's just so dominant, everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunate miss actually from Dry Noodles. If they did not miss at the beginning, this point 100% will be in their favor. Because a miss does count even if it's very early on.
Yeah.
Yeah, congratulations to Indonesia A on beating Asia Pacific. But Asia Pacific is not a team that you can underestimate even after losing in such a manner.
Yeah.
And
both teams definitely did very well.
Yeah.
Just
spectacular.
Yeah.
Asia Pacific will be a very formidable opponent against any other team that is not in the top 5, I believe.
Yeah,
they can do some serious damage.
Yeah, top 5 seeds are quite scary to face off if you're in one of the lower seeds, because you get you get like those sort of nerves
True.
from like just the intimidation from the higher seeding teams.
And yeah, I think we're gonna watch the tiebreaker show match. I see I see my song is playing in the background. So are we gonna commentate on it? Perhaps, right?
Could do.
They want to play the tiebreaker, made by some guy. I don't recognize that guy at all. Who's
Yeah,
that?
no, I don't know that guy.
I don't know. Am I right? Who's that? Stranger.
Who's that stranger? Are they impersonating one of our staff?
Yeah, I don't know. They have a very similar name to somebody. I cannot put my hand on it. Actually, this is my first time commentating a tiebreaker, because some of the matches, like we're so packed, so the streamer needs to like go, and then all right.
Yeah.
But the next match is in 2 hour, around 2 hours, yeah. Which will be my bedtime, so I won't be there to commentate. But
yeah,
some of my dear
I
friend, yeah,
I won't be there as well because it's past midnight over here where I am in Australia.
yeah. But some of my dear commentator friend will still cover the later match. It'll be still a banger. 5v5.
5v5.
Yeah, there's no rule on this, so honestly it's up to them if they want to do 5v5, 3v3, because it's just for fun.
Yeah, this map is quite LN heavy, especially with the anchors and
Yeah,
and the hold and release.
true. I mean, tiebreaker is like 60%. I say it's LN, because
Yeah, that's to be expected because tiebreakers aren't meant to be more laid back. They're meant to be more intense because you want like a more you want a more evenly mapped tiebreaker to
yeah,
make it more
true,
interesting.
true. Because LN as an item, or I don't know what to say, but like if you go into the editor and then you like, if you've mapped before, you know that LN long notes are a bit more versatile as as a thing to use compared to Rise. Like LN, you can extend it, you can combine it, you can do stuff, and so for a tiebreaker, that's main job is to show all of the skill set. It's it's easier to make them like more LN bias, LN focus thing. They can do.
Yeah, because the amount of diversity you can make with LNs is um like pretty big. Like the diversity of the whole LN skill set is pretty broad.
Yeah, true. Like, for example, in some of the part, like you could make like a a triple LN, which all of them has a different release. That's like evil, right? But that's a
That's
valid
evil.
skill set.
Yeah, evil, but
But yeah,
understandable
it's just
for
evil,
the mapper
honestly.
to do that.
Who's the mapper? Am I right? Who's the mapper?
Who's this guy?
Yeah.
Get a load of this guy.
And yeah, if you're trying to do that for Rice, it doesn't really work, right? Because Rice doesn't have link. So if you do a triple, like maybe you could do Graces, but you can also do that on LN. You could do like you can do more. You can do LN Graces with different releases. That's extra evil. That's like
Yeah, you can see that more in the maps
later
for
stage.
like Camellia
Yeah,
songs, because
that's a
Camellia
later
songs can
stage.
be like much more devastating than most of these songs we can see in the map pool.
Yeah, but I I bet that some of the map later, like way later in late stage of finals and grand finals, will definitely have very crazy pattern. We try to make it as as enjoyable as we can. That's the nice word, right?
Yeah, like you gotta make it like enjoyable but challenging at the same time. Like you can't make it too hard, especially for the skill set, like the skill set of players.
Well, we'll try because this tiebreaker is definitely a massive step up from round of 32. If any of you have played tiebreaker of round of 32, well, I would say the technicality of the LNs are not the hardest thing. It's way faster. It's 195 BPM, single note stream. That is actually like couple stage up for the speed pick. So yeah, make that
Yeah.
what you want. And we see a very scary score on our left, bottom left. What is that score? Excuse me?
Pretty Eve. Oh, it's flickering, but Dry Noodle with the late miss.
Oh,
169. No,
169.
if Dry
What?
Noodle didn't miss there, I reckon
What?
Asia Pacific would have had that just by like a around about 600 points.
Wait, isn't this the same as one of the tiebreaker show match, which has 489 score difference? Is it
Yeah, I think that is.
crazier?
Yeah, that's crazy.
169 point difference to Indo.
That's pretty good for a tiebreaker though. Like
Yeah.
holy shit. But yeah,
Yeah.
Indonesia A um taking the win for this match.
Yeah, congratulations. They will be advancing up into quarter-final winners bracket. And Asia Pacific will not be eliminated just yet because this is the winners bracket match. They will be moving down, but still advancing up. No, advancing a stage, but it's gonna be like quarterfinal losers bracket. They will have to win twice to be able to survive on this match, basically. Alright, thank you everyone for watching. I feel like there's gonna be a match soon. Well, not soon actually. It's gonna be a match on 18 UTC around 2 hours from now. And yeah, well, I can talk about the next match. Indonesia A will actually be fighting Vietnam A. It'll be a civil war because a lot of our staffs are from Vietnam and a lot of them also from Indonesia. So I say for you watching the stream, don't forget to watch the stream next week of Indonesia A versus Vietnam A. It'll be the match of all time.
Yeah, definitely one of the more scarier matches because both of those teams are very skilled. in
Yeah,
both
100%.
skill set, like in all the skill sets.
Yeah, those two are the are the premier, are the flagship team of each country. Like two of the most participated countries in this tournament. So the stakes are high, the competition are high, and we all will be there to watch, right? I will be there.
Yeah, that one's
100%.
definitely going to be a much in like a pretty interesting match. But don't go anywhere because there's still more matches in the round of 16.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much for watching.